Hello, everyone. We are going to get started. Welcome to Tuesday Talks. Today's Tuesday Talks is on meal production. My name is Jenny Heidenreich, and I'm the Public Instruction Supervisor for the Community Nutrition Team, and I'll be your trainer for today. At the end of the presentation, there are slides that point out where you can find additional information and resources that your program can access later. The main concepts covered in today's webinar can assist all programs with determining amounts to prepare. Throughout this presentation, you will see website links on some slides. You can access links on the handout that is posted on the Tuesday Talks webpage. Meal production is the process of planning and preparing enough food for all participants at a meal service. This involves the menu, production records, and knowledge of the meal pattern serving sizes, which provide minimum amounts that must be served to each participant. Throughout the webinar, production records will be mentioned as the way to document meal production information. Emergency shelters and family daycare home providers are not required to complete production records, but may still benefit from the information in this webinar. This webinar may not be applicable for schools that have a meal production process already in place, or for programs that receive meals from a vendor. Today, we want you to walk away with knowing how to use two resources that will help you determine the amount of food to prepare to meet minimum CACFP serving sizes at meals and snacks. The tools are the Meal Requirements Calculator and the USDA Food Buying Guide Calculator. The first step for meal production is planning the menu. Let's look at a sample meal. Today, we will focus on one lunch where we plan to serve tacos, cucumber sticks, mixed fruit, whole wheat soft tortillas, and milk. All the examples shown today are using the child care component forms and tools. There are separate resources for the adult care component, but the concepts shown today are relevant for all programs. We need to complete the production record for the meal. The production record is the tool to document the specific food items and amounts to prepare to meet the minimum required serving sizes. For this meal, we are making tacos and will be using ground beef, so that is entered for the meat alternate. Next, record the other food items that will be used for this meal. Vegetable are cucumbers. The fruit is mixed fruit with juice, which is canned. Grains will be the whole wheat soft tortillas, and then whole and 1% milk. The first step in determining amounts of foods to prepare is determining how much is required based on the projected number of participants at the meal and the meal pattern serving sizes. This information is recorded in the amounts required column. Amounts required is how much must be available in the cooked prepared form to be served to participants in total for all age groups. The CACFP meal pattern chart identifies each age group along with the minimum serving sizes for each food component that must be served to each participant during the meal or snack. This is how much must be put on the participant's plate or bowl and in the cup. This chart does not help a program determine how much food is required to be purchased and prepared. You'll need to use the two resources that we'll discuss next to help with that information. The first tool to help with meal production is the Meal Requirements Calculator, which was developed to calculate the amounts required. It is found under Guidance Memorandum 12. The Meal Requirements Calculator uses the projected number of participants multiplied by the serving sizes for each age group listed on the meal pattern chart. Then the totals are documented under the amounts required column on the production record. Next, I'll walk you through the steps on how to use the Meal Requirements Calculator by playing a video. The Meal Requirements Calculator was developed to calculate amounts required for breakfast, lunch and supper, and snacks. The Instructions tab provides an overview of how to use the workbook. Go to the respective tab for the meal you need to determine the amounts required. In this example, we will be determining the amounts required for lunch, so we'll select the Lunch and Supper tab. On the Meal tab at the top, enter the projected participant numbers from the production record within the section Start Here. Match them up to the respective age categories from the production record. We have 20 1 and 2-year-olds, 30 3 to 5-year-olds, 15 6 to 18-year-olds, and 7 adults. The numbers entered at the top populate into the fields below under the projected number column for each of the different food components. In the milk section, the 1 and 2-year-old projected numbers will not pre-populate since different types of milk are required for 1 and 2-year-olds. Within the milk section, manually enter 10 1-year-olds and 10 2-year-olds. You will see that the calculator determines a total amount for each food component, which is shown under the column Amounts Required. You must then transfer these totals to the production record. Each of the amounts listed must be rounded up to the next whole number. There are different options for the meat alternate component depending on the food item you plan to serve. For example, there is a section for meat, which includes meat, fish, poultry, and cheese, and sections for other meat alternates such as yogurt, nut butters, and tofu. Similarly to the meat alternate sections, there are 2 options for grains, depending on the specific grain item on the menu. This includes pasta, rice, and cereals, or other grains, such as bread, biscuits, rolls, and muffins. In our example, we are serving whole wheat tortillas, which falls into this category of bread, biscuits, rolls, and muffins. For tortillas, we will use the Grains Calculator tab to determine the amounts required for this lunch. Enter in the projected number of participants in the yellow boxes according to age. The 1 to 5-year-olds have the same serving size of grains. Therefore, the total of that age range is entered into the 1 to 5-year-old box, which is 50. We have 15 6 to 18-year-olds and 7 adults. Next, we'll scroll down to the listed tortillas, and we plan on serving a tortilla that is 8 inches. This calculates the total quantity to purchase and serve, also known as the amounts required for this specific lunch. As with the other components, this must be rounded up to the next whole number too. Next, we'll enter this information on the production record under the Amounts Required column. I have recorded the totals from the meal requirements calculator onto the production record as shown on this slide. For example, the calculator showed that we need 106 ounces of meat alternate, 20 cups of cucumbers, and 22 tortillas. So I recorded those amounts in the amounts required column for each of those components. Again, these are the total amounts that must be available to serve to the participants. Next, we will use this information to determine how much to purchase and prepare. To determine how many tortillas to purchase, take the total amount needed from the amounts required column that was determined from the grains calculator, which is 22 tortillas, and divide by the number of tortillas in the package, which is 10. So 22 divided by 10 is 2.2. Round up to 3 packages for purchasing. For the other items, we will use another tool. To determine how much food to purchase for the other food components, use the USDA Food Buying Guide calculator. The Food Buying Guide calculator is found at the website located on the slide. You can also access it under Guidance Memorandum 12. This tool has an extensive list of commonly served food items for each of the food components and includes various ways foods may be purchased. For example, raw or cooked meat, canned, fresh, or frozen fruits and vegetables, and in varying sizes. This information plays a role in determining how much actually needs to be purchased and prepared for the meal or snack. The amounts from the Food Buying Guide calculator will go under the amounts to be prepared on the production record. Let's find the food items needed for the lunch using another video that I'll play. When a program initially goes to the USDA Food Buying Guide link, you'll be asked to log in. However, you do not need to have an account. You may log in as a guest. Please refer to the instructions under Guidance Memorandum 12 for further details. For ease of training today, I have already logged into the interactive tool. On the home page, we'll select the Food Buying Guide calculator. Next, select Create Shopping List. Enter the shopping list name in the field provided. This will make it easier to find for later. We'll name it Meal Production. In the section below, we'll start by searching for the food items. Click on the tab for the food component you are searching. To keep today's training focused on the main concepts, we'll go through the meat alternate and vegetable components within the Food Buying Guide calculator as examples. Let's start with the meat alternate component. In the box for item keywords, enter beef ground, then search. You'll see that several options appear. For this meal, we will choose raw ground beef that is 80% lean and 20% fat. So we select that option by clicking the green Add button to the left of the food item. The selected item appears at the bottom of the screen to allow the user to add serving size. Click the green Add Serving Size. Under the serving size, click on the Select Serving Size drop-down box where we'll see several options. We previously determined the total amounts required for all projected participants was 106 ounces of cooked ground beef. So select the 1 ounce option, and under Number of Servings, enter 106. The calculator determines how much raw ground beef needs to be purchased and prepared to provide 106 ounces of cooked meat, and that is 9 pounds of raw ground beef. It rounds the value up to make it a more practical purchase amount. This is the amount you record on the production record in the amounts to be prepared column. One note about cooking raw meat of any kind: there will be loss of volume from the raw to cooked form due to water and fat content lost during the cooking process. This is why you must purchase and prepare more raw meat than amount you need when cooked. Next, let's determine the amount of cucumbers to purchase. Go to the Vegetable tab, search cucumber. Sometimes the Food Buying Guide includes information in the right column regarding how the item will be served, as shown here. This information will help you determine which type of cucumber to select. We plan to purchase whole cucumbers and serve them in stick form. So select the Add Green button to the left of the food item that has that description in the last column. The selected item appears at the bottom of the screen to allow the user to add a serving size. Under Serving Size, click on the Select Serving Size drop-down box. Again, several options are available. We previously determined the total amount required for all projected participants is 20 cups of cucumbers. So we select the 1 cup option, and under Number of Servings, we enter 20. The calculator determines how many pounds of cucumbers in the fresh, unprepared form to be purchased to provide 20 cups of vegetables, and that is 8.25 pounds of cucumber. The calculator automatically rounds it up to a more practical value for ease of purchasing. This is the amount you record on the production record. The food buying guide calculator can be used to determine the amounts to be prepared for fruits, grains, and milk as well. We're going to select Save, Close. This allows for the shopping list to be generated and be accessible. So we're going to go to the top toolbar and select Tools, select Food Buying Guide Calculator My Shopping Lists. Each shopping list that is created under your login information is saved here. You can make edits, make a copy, delete, download a PDF, or even text or email the list to yourself for ease of access when going to the store. Select the PDF option to view the shopping list. It provides a summary of how much to purchase along with a description of each food item that has been added. Here is the full shopping list for all the foods for this lunch. The information from the food buying guide shopping list can be used to enter the amounts to be prepared on the production record. Refer to the Buy Purchase Units column. As the final step, enter the amounts for each food component from the food buying guide calculator in the amounts to be prepared column of the production record. This is the end of the presentation portion of today's webinar. Since we did not cover all requirements of meal production, we have other resources available. On the Guidance Memorandum webpage under Guidance Memorandum 12 are additional resources under the Meal Planning and Production Records section. As you can see, both the meal requirement and food buying guide calculators I demonstrated today are included here. The following tools are also included in this section: instructions for using the food buying guide calculator in production records, and production record templates. There is also a food buying guide app that can be downloaded on your phone or tablet for iPhone or Android devices. This is great if you are shopping in the store and you need to make a food substitution. You can use the app to determine how much to purchase. Search Food Buying Guide and look for the icon on the right side of your screen within the App Store or Google Play. For a full training on production records, we have the production records lesson in the CACFP e-learning course. The link in the slide goes to the training webpage. Under the CACFP e-learning courses section, click on your type of program to go to the specific lessons. This is a great tool when training new staff. If you have questions about these resources or the CACFP, please reach out to your assigned consultant. You can find your consultant at the Consultants by County link on this slide.